Hey, how you doing, girl? Uh, I'm just really loving looking at myself in the in my webcam camera on my laptop, the image on my laptop. Oh man. So, how are things today, girl? So, it's me, your dad, Miguel Trujillo, and I am here online on the 20th of March, 2019. That's right, the 19th year of the second millennium since we started. Well, I don't know, since we assigned the beginning of time to 0 BC or 0 AD. Is it 0 BC or 0 AD? I'm not sure. What an auspicious date. I wonder why that I wonder why 0 BC was chosen when it was chosen. Like, I wonder, is there a special date that it marks? I guess it have been Jesus's birthday. I don't know. I don't know. Did all time begin on December 21st? I mean, December 25th. I don't know. Anyway, I hope you're doing well today, Emily. I hope things are going well. Thank you for clicking on the link. Yes, victory. I am willing to take every success and celebrate it as they come. And clicking a link is as much a thing to celebrate as anything else, like a birthday or a holiday. So thanks for deciding on your own free will to spend some time with me. I know it's impossible. It's hard to do. I know. Whew. Accomplished that. Mission accomplished. So, how do you like my new hairstyle today? I have a brand new hairstyle and I'm going out on a limb today. That's right. Here's the reason I'm going out on a limb. No hairspray, no product, no paste, no gel, no mousse, no nothing. Except for maybe a blowout. Is that what they call it? A blowout? I think it's just a blowout. This is what I think it is. It's just some kind of it's hair dryer action, drying that hair, ironing out those hair fibers using a blow dryer. And I think that's basically all I've done. And we're gonna see if this hairstyle lasts all day long. I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see what happens if it collapses under its own weight. Oh man. But so I'm on natural today. And I've been on natural for the last few days and I'm liking it. I'm learning about my hair. So for me, that's exciting and interesting. It's probably not exciting to you. I can accept that. I can accept that. And if with a little bit of patience, we can get through this together. All right. So the title of this video is my first day of school. And I was thinking about running through a few memories I have of the first day of school. And what I could do is I'll reminisce about, I think it was my first day of first grade. And then I will reminisce about my first day of high school. And then I'll reminisce about my first day of college. No, I'm just kidding because I don't remember my first day of college. My first day of college? Golly, when was that? My first day of college. So I think I can remember that, at least a, some aspect of my first day of college. So I'll do that right now, and I plan to only take an hour to tell those 3 stories. I know. Miracle of miracles, Miguel can tell 3 stories in 1 hour. It's amazing. I have a gift. I have a gift. The gift of gab, I guess. So, here is story number 1, my first day of class, first grade. So, the reason I call this my first grade story instead of my kindergarten story is because I don't remember my first day of kindergarten. Although maybe I do. I just don't quite remember it. So I'll do with my first day of first grade. So it happened in Taos, New Mexico. And the story begins at Enos Garcia Elementary School. A school that still exists, by the way. So this is a school that's at least 35 years old. So the school still exists. The classroom still exists. I think I even visited the school, last year. I know. I have a tendency to sort of reminisce, and I return to my classrooms. I went to my classroom. I think it was where I went to, like, I don't know, kindergarten, Sombra del Monte. Maybe I did a little bit of kindergarten there, and I returned. I know I returned last year just to go check. I looked in the window at the classroom, and I looked at it. There's just pleasure I get from reminiscing about the past, particularly the long time past. Anyway, so I remember my first day of school. I was just a young boy. My mom escorted me to the classroom. The classroom had lots of windows in it. There was a courtyard nearby with a lawn, and it was a pretty industrial looking building, how school buildings are. It was an actual building. It was a large building, a classroom in a large building, and it was a sunny day. I remember the weather. It was beautiful outside. And I remember feeling very scared. Yeah, like, so scared, like, Mom, I don't want to be here scared. I didn't want to stick around. I didn't want to stay. I remember that pretty distinctly. And my mom, was giving me assurances things were going to be okay. And they were, the day. I don't remember details about the day. I just remember showing up, sitting in my classroom. I think, at that time, we were asked to bring materials like Kleenex boxes and pencil boxes and things like that. And I think I had those. And I seem to remember my first grade teacher a little bit, but I don't remember it all that well, honestly. But I remember the first day. That's about all I remember. I know memories are fleeting, and I kind of wish I had more of that memory, but I don't have a lot of it. I just remember I remember the class was sort of Spartan, right? Could have been 15 to 20 desks in the classroom. These were desks where the desk, like the table and the seat were connected. And there was like a cubby hole underneath the seat, at that kind of standard desk. Also small desk. I seem to remember rather small desk. So it was really cozy. It's a nice place to sit down in. It was wood and metal. And there was a teacher with a teacher's desk and a chalkboard. Pretty sure of that, and windows. I remember it being like airy in the sense that there was lots of sunlight. Yeah, so that was my first day of first grade back in Enos Garcia Elementary School. So let's see. Now let's talk about my first day of high school. I remember it pretty distinctly. So high school is ninth grade, and my first class was my English class. I was taking honors English as a freshman in high school at Del Norte High School in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And the year was 1985? No, 1986? 1986. That's right, 1980. No, it was 85. 85, 86, 87, 88, 89. Yeah, I think it was 85. So it must have been like August of 85. And it was raining that day. It was cloudy, and I can't remember. I think my mom took me to school that day. I did not take the bus. And we were late. I can't remember why. I think I just got there just on time. Like I arrived, and then 5 minutes later the bell rang, right, to the start of the first day of class. And so I arrived there, the bell rang, and I didn't know where my classroom was. This is the first time that I had been to I think I might have been to Del Norte High School maybe once for registration, but I did not know where my first class was. And so I remember like looking around, walking up and down the hallways, searching for my class. Turns out that the class was not in the building, it was in the portables, right? The portables where all the portable classrooms were. And here's the thing, that was kind of a drag because it was raining outside and portables are outdoors. So there's no roof to protect me from the rain. So I was getting wet, right, from the rain. It probably didn't take me too long to find the class. My guess is that maybe I was 10 or 15 minutes late. So it never was really a big deal. But I was feeling a little insecure about being late to my first day of class. But then I got there. It was a portable classroom, which means that it had its own like short stairway, 4 or 5 steps. I opened the door, and I remember seeing my class all sitting in their seats, and the teacher, I think she was walking around. The teacher's name was Marcello, Angie Marcello, and she was my honors English teacher, my freshman honors English teacher. It just turns out that those kids in the honors English class would be my best friends all through high school, because we were all in honors English together. And in fact, it wasn't easy for me to, at least for the first year, to keep that honors English pattern going, because there was a point in time when my English teacher, as a sophomore, suggested that I should not be in honors English. And I almost lost my ability to be in honors English, which would have been a tragedy for me socially. um, so glad that they decided to keep me in honors English. That was an important part of my social life. I still have friends. In fact, the last time I went to Albuquerque, New Mexico, I visited a friend of mine, Ginger Looney, who was a person who was in my honors English classes for all 4 years. So, I mean, today, I mean, it's been what, 30 years since I graduated high school. And just last year, I visited with a friend of mine who was in my honors English class. Honors English class. In fact, last year, I also spent some time with a friend of mine, Mike Stem from high school. I went and visited him at his home, and he was also in my honors English class in high school. So, those folks are basically my friends, even today, even 30 years out. That short time that we spent together, one class every weekday during the school year. Um, yeah, for 4 years. Pretty awesome. So I'm really glad that was the case. I'm glad I was able to, maintain those relationships. In fact, hopefully I'll be able to see more of them this year. And the reason is because, like I mentioned, it's been 30 years. And so I've got my 30-year high school reunion coming up August 10th. And I'm definitely going to head out to Albuquerque and be a part of that high school reunion. So I'm looking forward to that. Yes. Okay, so now my first day of college. My first real day of college. Now, I don't have really strong memories of my first day of college, but I can tell you when it happened and where it happened. It was in Socorro, New Mexico. My first day of college was at the New Mexico Institute of Mining and Technology. And it happened on, I guess it was like August sometime, August of 1989. And oh man, I was so lucky to go to college. So here I am, a high school student, right? I can't believe this. I'm so embarrassed to say this. I had a pretty good GPA in high school, 2.98 GPA. I know that doesn't sound all that great. Is that what it was, a 2.98? No, 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 no. I had a better GPA in high school. In high school, my GPA was 3.36, something like that. 3.36, 3.35, 3.36. So that was my GPA in high school, like 3.36, something like that. So I was pretty much like an A, B, and occasional C student. And so 3.36, believe it or not, 3.36 meant that I came in 33rd when it comes to GPA ranking. I came in 33rd in the high school, which is amazing. I still can't believe that I came in 33rd in the high school. I had the 33rd highest GPA in my graduating class. Yeah, I still can't believe that with a 3.36 GPA. Especially, which just goes to show, at least at the time, how hard it was to get and there were a lot of people, a lot of kids, I guess there were less than 33 kids that had really high GPAs like 3.5 and 3.678. 3.9 and 4.0s. There were a couple 4.0s. I had a classmate, his name is Brent Guest. He was our valedictorian, and he's dead. He died. Poor guy. Triathlete. and he died when I think he was on the swimming leg of a training session for a triathlon. Poor guy. I swim every week, so I don't know why he died. It must have had some kind of heart trouble or something. But clearly, he was a man who was a man with a mission and driven to get 4.0 GPA. I think his GPA was much higher than that because back then we had AP classes, and I have a feeling he dominated in the AP classes. So he probably walked away with a 4.2 or maybe even like a 4.4. I'm serious. He was blasting through the theoretical limits of GPA-dom. I still don't know how he do. I don't know how people get 4.0 GPAs. So anyway, first day of college. Oh, so I don't particularly remember my first day of college at New Mexico Tech in Socorro, but there are a few memories that I have that stand out in my mind relating that were near that time. And one of the biggest days was the day that I actually left home. At the time, I was living with my mom in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I remember packing up my car. I had a white Fiat Pininfarina car. It's just a coupe, which is a two-seater. A nice sporty car. I just want to hand it to my mom and dad for getting that car for me. That was pretty amazing. Certainly not what I was looking for necessarily because I wasn't expecting to have much of a car at all. But that I had it. It was pretty amazing. And so thank you, parents, for doing that for me. So I was packing up my car, ready to travel from Albuquerque to Socorro, New Mexico, which was a drive of about 77 miles. And I was about to leave home, like permanently, right? After living at home for like 18 years, leave my parents and my parent at least, and start living in the dorm room in Socorro at New Mexico Tech. Big deal for me. Big deal. So here I am, 18 years old. I had only been 18 years old for 3 months, right? For 90 days. And I was already packing up the car with all my stuff, like my blankets and my stereo and who knows what other stuff I had, books and stuff. And I packed up my car, and at the time, our family lived on Tarragon Drive. It's like 13536 Tarragon Drive, something like that. And that was in Albuquerque, New Mexico. The house can still be visited. I don't think I drove by it last time, but last time I was in Albuquerque. But I remember it was such a beautiful day. Oh, so gorgeous. And I want to tell you that as a kid, an 18-year-old, I was really excited about leaving home and living in the dorm rooms at college. Oh, I forgot to mention a big part of this story, and this is what I was feeling regretful about earlier, is that I only applied to one college in high school. I only applied to one. Oh, today, even to this day, I can't believe. First of all, I'm so glad that they at New Mexico Tech accepted me as a student, thankfully. And but I just think about what might have happened if New Mexico Tech did not accept me. Oh my goodness. Here's the thing. I really didn't have a high levels of assertiveness when I was 18 years old. I didn't have high levels of sort of determined, committed action. I wasn't committed to action. I was so lucky that I applied to one college and that one college accepted me. I mean, I am actually quite concerned about what might have happened if I did not get accepted to New Mexico Tech. I might have worked at Dunkin' Donuts for the next 10 years of my life. Serious. Serious. So, so thankful. And not only that, but New Mexico Tech accepted me and gave me a presidential scholarship. So they gave me a scholarship. It was like $1,000 a semester or something like that. But I got a scholarship too, which is amazing. Amazing. So happy. Oh my gosh. That was probably the best thing that ever happened to me. And the most fortunate thing, because if it hadn't have happened, oh man, I really would be concerned. So anyway, I got into college. The first person in my family to go to college. I was the eldest child of 6 children, and my parents hadn't gone to college. And I mean, I was the very first one. I was blazing a trail. And it turned out I'd blazed a pretty substantial trail because pretty much all of my siblings went to college after I showed them the way, you know? So I was definitely a trailblazer. I was the first to go to college. I think everyone else went to college. Yeah. And in fact, Angelo, my brother, is about to possibly, maybe graduate college this summer, this spring. So we'll keep our fingers crossed for Angelo. Hopefully he gets that degree that he wants. So, okay, so here I am packing up. I was accepted to college. I mean, even today, I just have this incredible sense of relief. Like, oh, thank God. So, and I was really, really looking forward to leaving home. Really wanted to get out of home. I mean, as a teenager, I was really struggling at home. I started struggling when I was a kid, maybe my sophomore, junior year of high school. I had so much pent up energy and I wanted to do stuff. And anyway, so happy to be leaving home. Dream come true, really. So I was really excited about getting out of there. Not that it was bad. It was good. It was good living. But I definitely wanted some freedom, as I guess many teenagers do anyway. So I remember hopping in my car, saying goodbye to my mom, saying goodbye to my brothers and sister out there in the parking lot of our home. And then I particularly remember putting the car in gear, reversing out of the driveway, and then driving forward on the road and just having this feeling of like I'm leaving it behind, you know? Like this would be like the last time. Like I think one of my brothers already had put dibs on my bedroom in the house. And so I wasn't going back. So anyway, and then I remember the drive out there, 77 miles south of Albuquerque, down to Socorro, finding my dorm room. Oh my gosh, good stuff. Moving all my stuff into the dorm. I think my first dorm room was, I think it was on the first floor of a 3-story dorm room. I just loved it so much. And I think I recall, I think I might have gotten a single instead of a double. No. I think I was in a double. In fact, I think I remember my roommate. His name was Ricardo Espendola. Still a friend of mine. In fact, I might go visit him this coming May when I go out to Albuquerque. In fact, I've got to send him an email. Let him know that I'm on my way to New Mexico again this coming May, the last week of May, and see if we can find a time to get together. So that is cool. So yeah, your high school and college friends, they tend to be lifelong friends. I'm so glad for that. So glad to have that tribe, so to speak, of people who are out there. And so, but that was my first day of leaving for college. It's kind of funny. I don't necessarily remember my first day of college. You know, one thing I do remember at New Mexico Tech is just how beautiful the campus was. I mean, it was just, I loved it there. I know. So here's the thing, I am a lover of college campuses. I don't know why. It's just something that I really love. There are a few things that I love. And when it comes to places, I love libraries, libraries of all kinds. I just love libraries. I love college campuses, any kind of campus environment. Like I even went to JPL, and I like JPL because it's a jet propulsion laboratory back down in Pasadena, Los Angeles. I like it because it's sort of a campus setting. Any kind of campus setting, like a university or high school or even a national laboratory, even even a base, like Vandenberg Air Force Base. I love that setting of like sort of a mini city, mini community. I love that. In fact, even me, I live in an apartment right now, and I live in a basically in a group of people in an apartment complex. These are the kind of settings that I like to be in. There are people who like single family homes, right? Out in the middle of the wilderness, all out on the top of the hill. The log cabin that's by the lake, that's like 20 miles away from civilization. That is not for me. No way. I am all about the apartment complex, the condominium complex. I'm about the sort of collaborative living, the group living situation, the group living, the group working, the group learning situation. So anyway, yeah. So I was mentioning how I really love the New Mexico Tech campus. In fact, all of the universities that I visited and that I've been to had amazing campuses, except for one. See, I went to an online university too, so there was no campus. It was just computers. It was the cloud, right? The campus was the cloud. So, what I loved about New Mexico Tech was the grounds. They were just so beautiful with the grass and the trees and the buildings, the classrooms. Man, those were good times. Now, it's kind of funny. I'm going to college right now. Yeah, I go to college every semester. Although sometimes I don't go on spring semesters summer semester, because, well, there are a lot of good reasons. Sometimes my summers are really packed with activities. Sometimes I also tend not to take like really academic courses during the summertime because there's just so much to learn so quickly. I'm not a fast learner. I mean, I am a fast learner, but for me, learning takes time. It's something I want to savor, something I want a whole semester to learn some kind of subject, whether it's geology or chemistry or biology, algebra. I want to have a full semester to learn it and to just steep my brain in it. And the quick summer semester, like 8 weeks long or something, it's just not long enough. It's not long enough. I need time to absorb all the material. So yeah, okay, so my point is that I still go to college even now, and I'm on college campuses 2-3 times a week. I know. I still, so my love of the campus uh, has not died down. Anyway, so let's see, that I just described. Well, There's something else I'd like to describe about New Mexico Tech and my experience there. So, when I went to New Mexico Tech for the first time and got my dorm room, that wasn't the very first time I had been in New Mexico Tech. Turns out there was a summer program that I was involved in high school. Um, what was it? I think when I was a junior in high school, there was a summer program at New Mexico Tech, and I did that. Um, I don't think it. I think it might have lasted, say, 2 weeks, right? But for that full 2 weeks, I was sleeping in the dorms during the summertime as a high school junior student. Yeah, and I remember the subject matter. It was like, what was it? It was what kind of program was it? It was like science and mathematics. It's like a STEM engineering summer introduction for 2 weeks, and you had to pay money to go. And it was like, I don't know, $1,000 or something like that. And I somehow was able to scrounge up the money and do that. And I had such a great time. So I remember um, living in a dorm for like 2 weeks, going to classes all like much of the day, and that there were a few subject areas that were being taught. One was metallurgical engineering, metallurgy, and that's the class I got. I got into the metallurgy class, and then there was another class. I think it was maybe mathematics, and maybe another one was physics. I don't know. I forget what it was, but it was kind of an introduction. It was like a 2 week introduction to science for high school students, for high school juniors during the summer. That was a great experience. I really love the opportunity to go to college. And I tried to impress my instructors. Oh, so here's a fun story. So, my teacher is this metallurgical engineer, right? And he knows all this math and science. And so, to prepare, I started reading a metallurgy textbook. I had a schedule. And I guess maybe they had some references on a book reading list or something. And what I did is I memorized, at the time, I did not know calculus, but I memorized uh, like a derivation of some kind having to do with metallurgy, right? It was something that I got out of the beginning of the text, right? The beginning chapter, there was this calculus equation. I forget what it was. Anyway, I literally memorized the calculus equation and step by step, right? Now, at the time, you have to realize I didn't know calculus. So I was just sort of regurgitating the symbols and the expressions. And I memorized, say, the caption underneath the equation. And I chose the correct time during class. Maybe it was slightly after class while I had the teacher's attention. And I literally wrote down the calculus equation sequence and described what I was doing in front of the teacher in order to impress him. Like, hey, this junior in high school knows calculus. Which goes to show how focused I was on trying to do well in my science class, or at least in this science program, and at least impress one of the instructors. Now, that tendency never went away. I've always had that tendency to say, what can I do to impress this instructor? And so that has held me in good stead, both with my professors in college and with my managers at work. So that's a humble brag in the sense that it is kind of funny, but it also is kind of bragging about, how determined I was to make a go of it, to make a go of this profession of science, which, by the way, I was committed to, seriously committed to when I was a kid. And I continue to be very committed to it as an adult. I mean, I haven't turned away from science by any means. And so I'm definitely a true believer in that, in a sense. Um, and so I'm glad that it's stuck with me, at least to some extent. In fact, I just took a geology class for fun about a year and a half ago. And in fact, now that I think about it, I need to think about what classes I'm going to be taking this summer. So I don't know when the schedule is going to come out for the summer semester at Allen Hancock College. Hopefully it comes out soon. Believe it or not, I've got my eye on taking a flower arranging class. I know. How wonderful is that? And I was thinking about taking a flower arranging class this semester, but I thought it would just be too much work. And that might have been a good call because I have a lot of fun to have this semester, this spring. Speaking of a lot of fun, I have been playing with the idea of learning how to surf this spring. What do you think about that idea, Am? Do you think that it might be a good idea? Here's the thing about surfing that I like. I like the idea of having something to do at the beach. The beach is really not the place that I go. It's not like my go-to place because I don't quite know what to do. The beach, there's sand and there's water, and people typically hike along the seashore, and I can do that. That's fine. But I don't happen to spend a lot of time around the beach. Like I've played volleyball before. But here's the thing about surfing. I mean, I love the idea of surfing, but I'm a little concerned about getting injured doing it. Maybe stand-up paddleboarding would be a better idea. Here's the thing about stand-up paddleboarding, though. It sort of happens. I don't know where it happens, but I'm guessing it happens before the waves break. So anyway, I do want to come up with some kind of ocean activity maybe this summer and enjoy that. Surfing may be what I want to do. Here's the thing that bothers me is that you can't really see the hard places under the water, right? The water is not that clear. And so how do you know when you're stepping on a rock or stepping on coral or, especially when you fall off your surfboard, how can you fall off your surfboard safely? Because here's the thing, everyone loves this sensation of gliding along the water and the powerful waves, right? And those waves, by the way, are extremely powerful. I have friends who've been injured by waves. There was a friend of mine. She was a young girl, and she was on a mattress, like a floating mattress, and the wave came up, and the wave basically bent the mattress in half while she was laying on it. Of course, that's what the wave does. As the wave sort of comes over the top, the mattress bent in half, and she was on it, but she was on it face down, and so she hyperextended her back. She hyperextended her back on the mattress as the mattress collapsed. And unfortunately, it did a little bit of damage. So So this girl is like 60 years old now, and she's still walking around stiff as a board, as if, um, you know, somehow she's doing fine, right? But she was injured by the wave. There's a lot of energy in those ocean waves, and there's also a lot of chaos around waves. Like, waves show up at different times with different intensities, and when other people are involved, there's a little bit of chaos. It's a little chaotic. So having all that energy in one place with all the chaos and uncertainty about where the ground is, it makes me wonder if surfing is for me. I happen to think that it might be, well, it might be a little bit too risky for me, because here's the thing: I don't want to get injured. I want to continue to work out every day at the gym. I've got things to do, right? And if I get injured, if it's a long-term injury, that could be a problem. I'll have to adapt. It's a struggle. I'm okay doing stuff that's safe. I'll do that all day long. For example, I like going to amusement parks, right? Going on roller coasters, things like that. That's relatively safe stuff. I'm in harnesses. There's not a lot of ways that I can get injured. But in the ocean, it's a completely different story. There are a lot of ways that I could get injured. Here's one way. I can't breathe underwater. I know. I tried. It doesn't work. And that is a problem area. So I don't know. Maybe it'd be better for me to get involved in like trampolining or something like that. Something a little less dangerous. Yeah. Or rock climbing. Rock wall climbing. I don't know. That sounds even worse, because I'm spending all of my time, precariously balancing on a tiny rock or mock rock. And at any time I could fall down. And who knows, people fall down in weird, wacky ways, and they can hurt themselves pretty good. For example, I got lots of examples. Our mutual family friend, Lloyd Shank, he was on a ladder, like a step stool ladder, just a tiny ladder, 2 or 3 steps, trying to fix something. And he fell off. And in fact, I think it was a controlled jump. He basically jumped off of the ladder. He just landed a little bit wrong, right? He landed slightly wrong, and he tore his ACL. Okay. Oh, that's a darn shame. Yeah, so he had to go get surgery. He had a cadaverous ACL implant. I don't know, it was surgically implanted or installed into his knee, and he's fine now, but he's a little insecure on his knee, and I don't think he runs anymore. And all it was him jumping off a tiny stepping stool. He just did it wrong, and he popped his ACL. So, I mean, just think about how many people are popping their ACLs who are doing indoor rock climbing. I'm sure it happens every once in a while. So, I don't know. Maybe the kinds of playful activities that I can enjoy ought to be things that are like movies and card games and board games and stuff like that. Instead of the physical risks. There are intellectual risks, social risks, all kinds of risks I can take that don't end up in injuries. It's probably a good idea to minimize the physical risks. Anyway, I'm going on and on and on and on. Let me wrap this up a little bit. So, And let me just say that I thank you for participating in this discussion through your just being present to it, for your being aware of it, and there's some level of acceptance of it. And I just want to let you know how grateful I am that you're willing to give me some presence, some of your presence, and I appreciate that. Thank you. Not presents, not wrapped presents, but presence. You and me, face to face, pixel to pixel, here right now. And thank you. The future looks bright. In fact, I'm planning on running the Trenton 5K race near Cabrillo High School this Saturday. Looking forward to that. In fact, today I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to get some running in to get some practice in and make sure that my legs are limber and strong and ready for that 5K race on Saturday in about 3 days. And so looking forward to that. Maybe I'll see you there. Hey, that'd be nice. We can pal around and have some fun running in the dirt. And let's see what else is going on. I've got this NVC conference coming up, not this coming weekend, but the weekend after, and it would be a blast if you wanted to show up. That would be great. I would definitely pay your tuition. It's only $100. Totally pay it. Incidental, come along with me to the NVC conference. That would be amazing if you were into that. It's about communication, better communication. That would be amazing. In fact, maybe what I can do is this weekend I'll ask, maybe in a video format. Yeah, when I send you my text message videos, I'll ask you if you want to go to the NBC conferences, not this weekend, but next weekend. That sounds cool. I would love to have you as my guest. We could drive down there. It's the 30th and 31st of March. And we could have a ball. Oh my gosh, would that be a ball together? I would really love that. I understand it's rather unlikely. Spend a weekend with your dad at a communication conference, but it's possible, right? Anything's possible. So that would be fun. I'd have you to come and visit with me. We could hang out, have breakfast, lunch, and dinner together, and I can drive you home at the end of it all. So let's see what else is going on. Well, like I said, I just want to let you know that I love you, that I care for you, that you're important to me, that our relationship is important to me. It's important to me because it's about the meaning, right? The meaning. It's about, for me, it's me being confident in our relationship and satisfied. It's important for me to be in partnership with you. And so on a scale from 1 to 10, how important is it for me to be in partnership with you? It's very important. So, and what's great is that partnership can take whatever form you want it to take. It's not just me who decides what form our partnership takes, but it's both of us who sort of negotiate what's best for us and what works for us. And I'm definitely willing to sort of accept what kind of partnership situation you would like to engage in. That sounds amazing to me. And it'd be awesome to have your feedback as it relates to that subject. So yeah, anyway, I hope you have a fantastic rest of the week. It is Wednesday, so it's hump day, it's the middle of the week. And I hope you have a great weekend this weekend. Maybe we can go for a run. Heck, maybe we can even go get some ice cream afterwards. That would be totally awesome. Love to get some ice cream with you. Or maybe get some pizza right when the race ends, the Trent 5K ends. It'll be lunchtime. So grabbing a slice of pizza would be awesome. We could go to Blaze Pizzeria. That's that new pizza place that opened up in Lompoc maybe about a year ago. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. And peace. I love you.